Everybody, happy Friday. Oh my gosh. It is the Mindset Reset Show episode 4. If you can believe it, we're 4 in. Wow. And I want to welcome everybody here today. It is a joy to be here. Just saying. And I'm dropping things. You know me, right? Yeah. I mean, you know me. Yeah, Robert Clancy. Hi. Love you. Good to see your face again.
I am back. I'm always present. The present is the presence of
so true. And Robert Clancy, can you tell us about who is on camera with us today?
Yeah, this I found this Orange Cowboy guy. No, I do have to give a little bit of background. I've been volunteering for Hugh O'Brien Youth Leadership for almost 30 years. So I do this every year. It's high school sophomores come to this amazing conference and learn about kindness. And they're all in color groups. And then all of a sudden I look over and there's an Orange Cowboy guy standing there next to the orange section, of course, because I think he gravitated right to them. And I was guided to speak with him. And I said, "So, Orange Cowboy guy, I'm supposed to speak to you." And he said, "Oh, yeah, I've been waiting for you." And he hands me his card. And I look down and it's a psychic medium. Ayurveda guy, and he does all these amazing joy-filled things. And I said, "I know why we met." And we became instant friends. We walked back to this parking lot on this university, and there's thousands of parking spots, and we're parked literally like 10 cars away from each other. He says to me, "I've got books in my trunk for you." And I said, "Well, that's weird. I have books in my trunk for you." And I was guided to bring those to the conference. So we just exchanged books, and it's just an amazing light. He can give you his background. I want him to talk a little bit about sort of the tragedy that he went through, because he has an important message about how to transcend things. And we're all going through something in this world. And when you have, the loss, what you perceive as the loss of someone close to you, it can be devastating. It can take your joy and turn it into this black cloud that hangs over you. Yeah. And somehow he transcended this, because he had an amazing, journey, but also a tragedy that happened. And out of that, it's almost like, the flower blooms in the garden after the long winter. And that's what happened. And he went on, I know that you were in the Himalayas, and you're actually a real Swami. I mean, you've been recognized as a shaman. You have, and what I do want to frame this, because what I love about Swami is that he's in both worlds. He's got a keen business mind. Mm-hmm. He's got a very holistic centered area. And he also can combine herbs, and he specializes in all of those things, and eating well, to bring all of those things together. It's mind, body, soul. And he has all three of those components. This is one of his shorter books, but it's 21 Days to Joy. And you can sign up on his newsletter, and I think you get this book free in electronic form. So what could be better than that? I mean, that's joy right there.
I love it.
Please tell us a little bit about your background and that early, what was pivotal that changed your life.
Yes, thank you for that introduction, Rob. Joy here today. A little joy for you.
Nice.
So I've been in this field for about 4 decades, a little over 4 decades. And it all started for me, actually went really way back when I was about 7 years old. I started to get dreams at night. They were kind of disturbing dreams that my parents and I would be separated. And over the next 10 years, I kept getting different types of dreams like that. And then in about the 10th year, I was 17, my parents were in a car accident and they passed. Mm-hmm. All my dreams and even some day visions, they all came true. And well, aside from the grief of it, that aside, once I could breathe, I said, well, how did that know? Who told me? How did I know that? That's not possible. Mm-hmm. This is 1972. We didn't know anything about any of this, really. Mm-hmm. The States, the mainstream states. And so that led me into, I really just jumped wholeheartedly, both feet into meditation and yoga And for the next 5 years, I traveled around the world meditating 3 to 6 hours a day. Meditating, I became a meditation teacher, yoga teacher. And then, as Robert was saying, the Spirit keeps bringing me from one field to the other, from the world with the mainstream world, 5 years into meditating, and then back into the mainstream world, television world for 5 years, and then back to India and meeting my guru in the Himalayas. And then he says, "You could stay." I said, "I'd love to, but I have to go home." And that's been my life from shore to shore. And then even I got called down to the Amazon rainforest, and the shamans there said, "You're a natural born shaman and a healer." And I said, "Great, I'd love to be here, but I have to go home." And really, as Robert said, that it was the tragedy. You know, in every tragedy, there's a greater or equal gift.
Right.
And for me, was that I broke and I opened up to God. I broke open, and there was God for me. So that the great gift. And then years later, when my guru passed, it was a quick transition into joy, full joy, because there's a saint called Chaitanya, and he was the one that sings and dances Hare Krishna, and he's all about joy. And as soon as I learned my guru passed, I found that book about him. I read his story, and the only way I could survive was to be in joy. So,
well, you point out a couple things. One, that everyone that I've talked to that is that's transcended something has gone through something, and then they either get stuck and they don't make it, or they rise above it. When it's the perspective. So you think about, climbing that mountain almost killed me, but then you have the views when you're up there, and it all goes away, all the pain of getting there. And that's part of that journey that I've talked to some amazing spiritual people around the world, and every single one of them have had some challenge placed before them that they've had to overcome or live with. And I like in your book on learn earns joy, and that we should never stop learning about life and going through that. So I just want to read a few of your passages, because they're short, and that I love it, because my attention span is very short. I've got 8 million books coming. But the first one is, be forever a student of life. Life runs more smoothly when we have more questions than answers.
Yeah.
When we are in a learning mode, we are sincere and humble. And when we think we know everything, there's a crucial fork in the path that leads us to ruin, because you should still be learning. And the other one that you have here, some days everything goes our way, and other days are challenges. Life is cyclical. Be careful not to think the good days means that you've made it. But also, I'd like to add on to that don't think that the bad days are the end of everything.
I love that one.
And you go around. So
yeah.
I have my thought is, I always go to the metaphor of life. And I know you look at this too, Swami, and so do you, Lisa, that if we're not growing, we're dying.
Right.
Exactly.
Everything is meant to grow. And if you really think about it, everything that grows reaches for what? The light. They're always looking up.
Yeah.
All the trees, the plants, the flowers, everything that we have is empowered by that light. And I think about the diamond, like you pull it out of the ground, it's been buried under this pressure in darkness. And when you bring it in the light, it just shines, even if it's flawed. And that's really what we're all about. So give me your perspective on really a little deeper into this learning process and where we're going in life with that.
Yeah, I think the first thing that comes to my mind is that we are like water. And so learning is like water, being like water, and knowing is being like a rock. When we know, we're just stuck. We're a rock. We don't move. But when we're learning, we flow. If there's something in the way, well, we learn how to go around it or over it or under it. But we just keep flowing, and the flow of life, which is the flow of the love, flow of the heart, the
Yeah.
flow of the
I love that. Something's coming forward for me, Swami, for you. And it's just a question that I think may help some other people get a different perspective as well. In my own experience, the more that I say yes to the challenges, to going towards the light, to becoming more of who I'm here to be, no matter how hard it is, it gets easier and easier and easier as you go deeper into joy, as you know. But what came forward today was a question that I think a lot of people have or they don't understand. And that would be, what is the difference between looking for, finding, having joy, and actually being joy?
Oh, that's great. That's a great question, because so many people are looking for happiness from their car or from the movie or from the whatever. And those are great things to have. I'm not knocking them. But true joy is something that we generate. They're the core, the root, the source of in the Himalayas is the Ganges, and there's a source of that Ganges river called Gangotri. That's where it starts, and where joy starts is in the core of our heart, in the core of our soul. And what starts that is self-love, gratitude, other person, loving yourself.
Yeah.
The secret buried treasure is us.
Yes. Yes. I love that. Thank you. Yes, that's exactly right. So do you have some suggestions for people? Because again, we're always, people are always saying, well, I want to find happiness. I'm trying to get to happiness and joy. And I think a lot of people don't really understand. Now, we've been on the journey for a long time, and, we're always growing as well. It's always an evolution. But once you get the hang of it, right, and you say yes to the challenges again, that's when all this stuff starts to come in at a deeper level. But how can somebody who's just starting out and who doesn't really understand how to get to or become that joy, because a lot of people don't love themselves, right? How can people start that journey? And Robert, jump in here too with whatever you've got coming up.
Well, Robert and I are going to have the same answer partly, which is in the morning, crack a smile even if you don't feel like it, because research has showed it. Even if you fake a smile, the brain is faked out and it starts producing the happy hormones.
Right. Yeah.
So even when you don't feel like it, that's okay. Just and go for a walk, or get the movement. Anything moving gets things flowing.
Yeah.
Then from there is gratitude. What are you grateful for? Well, I'm grateful I woke up. I'm grateful I have a roof over my head. I'm grateful the power is on so we can have this conversation.
I was just going to say that. We haven't blown away yet. Oh, yay. Yeah. I love that. Being grateful for being in the present moment, because that's all we have right now. And the fact that our heart's beating without a battery and our lungs are breathing, we're talking, we're speaking. I mean, everything is really a miracle, and something to be grateful for. So I love that too. Thank you for that. Robert, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I'm going to, I have a poem sort of that it talks about a beautiful soul, and I'll share that with you. And that's sort of when you said about self-worth, you're over 13 billion years in the making. You're special, and I know this to be true. Your soul dances among the moonbeams, and your breath inspires the morning dew. You were born with love and created from stardust, and your light will forever shine in the heavens. Your journey through life's trials and tribulations will be your only lessons. Don't take your travels lightly, for you need to make your mark. Step out of the shadows toward the light and never look back at the dark. Share your heart as you go and leave everyone with a beautiful smile. For this is the road to heaven, and enjoy every one of those miles. And it's about moving forward in that love and that light, and understanding that you're created from the elements in the universe. Yes. All those elements have been here, always were here, and always will be here. Therefore, your soul and everything that makes you is part of that. Just because we burn a piece of paper doesn't mean it's gone. So I always take solace in knowing, and I know that your mother is very close to this transition, and both of my parents are there, my best friend, my niece. I was thinking about him this morning. Yesterday was my best friend's birthday. And this is somebody I met in second grade on the playground, and we never questioned our friendship. And, I realized I have what came into my mind was, you have your best friend with you all the time now.
Yeah.
They're cheering you on in this love, like, and giving you, just keep bringing it to you. And that's really what it's about. It's that we're all part of this big picture. And, you know, Swami, like, you know, I have had discussions about this, and really the soul's essence, and we're only here for this short time. And what does that mean? You know, what are we seeking when we're here? What's the whole point?
That's a great question. Yeah.
Just a little question. Yeah.
Just the big kahuna question.
Why are we here? And I mean, everybody's going to have their individual, but I think it's a game of hide and seek is what's the answer that just came to me for today. You know, when we were kids, we played hide and seek. And why would we hide? Because it was so fun finding. And I think, why did God create a multiverse and create beings who then go and rediscover God? Because it's the finding after the hiding and the seeking is the joy of that game. And that's what they're telling me to say right now. And I love it.
Yeah, I love that too. Yeah.
Well, it came back. It's something I wrote a couple of years ago, and then it came back as a memory that somebody shared. So I looked at it, and there were like probably, I don't know how many thousands of shares on this thing, but somebody wrote, I need to have this made into a picture frame and hang it above my bed so I can see it every single day. And it's titled True Original, because that's really the point. Each of us have our own journey, as Swami just said, and it's about being original and knowing, not trying to be someone else, because you can only be you.
And you are brilliant. And you are perfect just the way you are. Yeah.
The poem is, you're a one-of-a-kind original, created from the stardust and light. Let nothing hold you back, and call upon the angels to help you take flight. Raise your hands to the heavens and give thanks for the preciousness that's you. What's past is just that, and it's now time for the great renewal. All of the love you've ever shared has been multiplied beyond your greatest dreams. Any darkness that surrounds you is just an illusion, and it's never what it seems. Rejoice for God's splendor. Your soul has always known its place. Rise above, raise your spirit, for it's you who carries his grace. And it's about that grace that's inside, and that's the love. And I just feel that, you know, that connection. It's the thread that holds the universe together. And understanding how original and true, and living your truth, which I didn't for a long time because I had a secret of what happened to me, and I just kept it. And then I decided that's not who I am, and people need to know, and I can't take this to the grave. And it's about legacy. So what's the importance of legacy to you, Swami?
Well, I think you're really the highest capital L legacy is leaving that lasting connection of you with spirit, knowing where you came from and where you're going. And there is no real death. Just there is that water, that transformation of form and consciousness in this body, consciousness into the heaven.
Right.
And that's eternal. So that's
that fingerprint. Yeah. I love that. Beautiful. Swami, don't you have something to share with us today?
I do. When you asked me anything to talk about, Spirit said, well, not to talk, but music and movement.
And you know, we love music here, right? We were just talking about singing and all kinds of stuff. So we're in the midst of, I don't know yet. Spirit's got to bring forward what it is we're in the midst of. But we'd love to.
This is the second time that, they're telling me start with the music. They want me to activate some joy through music because I'm movement is the way to flow. And we're so caught up in working and compartments. And so I've got my Tibetan bowls here. The smallest one, it's easiest to pick up.
Love those. Yes, thank you.
This is the biggest one to pick up. So all of us, you can put your hands on your heart. Think about the person or place or thing you love the most, that brings you the most joy, and breathe in there. And I'm going to send the activation through the Tibetan bowls to enhance and your love in all dimensions. And as we transition from pure sound, we bring it through the crystal of joy, which amplifies to the world joy, world peace, world love, one world, one joy. And you can start to sway from side to side. Move as you feel. Move in your joy. Swing your hands, swing your feet. Imagine every movement, every flow you create is creating the love of the new world, the new joy.
Look at this. I have this little joy right here, too.
Oh, you do.
And we'll end with the awakening of the vibrations.
Well, you brought this little light into here because as soon as she heard those sounds, she came running into.
She always shows up for the broadcast. She loves the energy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't want to be alone.
No. Who does? You know?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
But, you know, the importance of, you know, the pure tones, too, and the sound and how all sound has these vibrations. And I view love that same way, that it creates these ripples that go out. And that's how you connect with other people. And that's how you share with that light. And even light has waves to it. Everything does. And that's the whole point, that the ripples of love and kindness are endless. They just continue to touch every shore.
And you know what I love about that? Oh, go ahead, Robert. You finish it.
No, there was. I was thinking about the person. Somebody said that, you know, that they had a bad day. Somebody ruined their day, and I get this visual in my mind that they're running around with this like little Dixie cup or a little tiny cup filled with like their joy for that day, and then somebody dumps it and spills it.
Right.
And they're really upset about this. And where my perspective is, you're standing on the beach and there's an entire ocean right here of all of that you're never going to need to carry that cup because you're always filled. All you have to do is go down and put your toes in the water.
Yes. I love that.
So I call that, you know, somebody spilled your little cup. And you
get over it. You know?
Get over it because you're standing on the shore where there's an ocean at all times. And you just need to go out and swim in it.
And what I wanted to bring up was what my experience has been. My love has been increasing at such an incredibly alarming rate that it's so, what I love about the music and the sounds is because I don't have, like, I've even been trying to find words for a book about what I feel in this love energy that I'm in. And I swear to you guys, I cannot find one word. It's more of a sound, a groan, you know, but it's not a word. There are no words to describe the divine love that we are, that we be, that we're in. So I think the music and the sounds really, you know, take us there a lot faster than words do, for sure. Yeah.
Some people, when I first heard the term, I've done it, but I didn't know it was a thing until Jessica Sutherland talked about it. She called it light languages.
Oh, I love that.
Languages from other races, from each.
Yeah. Light languages.
So you can just let things come out of your mouth, whatever they are. And it's probably a language of love in some way.
Oh, and I do, but I usually am embarrassed. So.
So I want to get back to one of the other pages you have, and I love this one because it's how I kind of live my life, is don't take yourself too seriously. It's about laughing at yourself, sometimes acting silly or crazy. And I know Swami and I have had our moments out there.
And I've had mine. You don't even want to know. I'd scare you guys. And I just like
playing and enjoying. That's how. And the word enjoy has joy in it because you're supposed to be in it all the time.
Yes. Yes.
That's why they say enjoy life, because that is the point. It's that simple. It's a simple equation that adds up to love and those things. Just having fun. I'm always joking around. Sometimes, Swami will look at me and I'm just enjoying life. I'm just going to let you know.
I'm with the right crowd because I like that. I like to laugh. I love to be goofy. I love to play. I have a very playful spirit, which is starting to come out again. And what I noticed too about joy is that, life happens and we don't always feel it, but we can get ourselves back into that state faster and faster. The more that we practice it and we stay there, it's a choice. I found that it's really a choice. I can say, well, like this morning I had something happen and I felt very sad. And I was like, well, I can go into that old wallowing, woe is me thing. Or I can just say, okay, and this is where I practice surrender and letting go. And I just say, okay, Spirit, I'm just going to be in this. I'm going to feel the love. I'm going to feel the joy because I know it's all about that. And you kind of slide right into it. So it's kind of like it becomes this perpetual state that you come out of once in a while, but you get right back into it again by choosing to do that. That's been my experience anyway.
Yeah. And I find that there's actually, from going out, the value, why do we go out and get back in? I'm finding there's actually mechanics. There's actually a step-by-step process how to get in. And eventually, once we know the mechanics, we can stay there more.
Right.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It's not a science, but it's experiential, and again, it's being willing to say yes, to let, my thing, yes is success, but it's about being willing to let life refine you and not define you and jumping in. And man, joy and love are the highest vibrations, and they're an amazing place to be. And I love staying there because I'm there often.
And that's I want, if Swami, if you can fill us in, I know you've got some initiatives there. Now you've written this a screenplay, which is getting some hard looks out on the Los Angeles area there in Hollywood and some other, what's going on. You've got a couple directors, and I know a director's interested. He's taking a look at that script. So fill us in on what this movie is, because it reminded me of that playfulness, because it's a comedy, right?
Exactly. It's a comedy, and we open and we learn, I feel, best through laughter, as opposed to preaching or intellectual studied knowledge. And it's about, the message is every man, every woman who has the culture of leading with their logical, rational brain and not so connected to their heart. And our hero in this movie thinks he could save the world with his research, but he's totally disconnected from his heart. And one day he literally bumps into a shaman, and the shaman says, by the way, you're about to have your heart open. And then that leads to lots of funny things of this poor guy. Trust and learn who he really is and why he stopped being who he was and all the gifts that he has. And so it is everybody I've shown it to, I have first a producer in Hollywood that Robert introduced me to. It introduced me to a director who just loved my vision and I loved his vision. And now we're actually attracting investors. We want to do it ourselves because the big studios tend to want to make it their way, and you lose more vision in it.
Yeah.
And none
so
of us want
independent film, heading down that route, which is most logical way to go with this. And it does give you the better of the control, of the creative control, and also in that arena, and everybody's going to run out and make the the giant Hollywood blockbuster, but these smaller independent films is really where the creativity happens, and that's allow that to
stay there.
Just staying true to your vision. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Yeah, super important. That's exciting.
And really, what we're talking about here is the fulcrum, the leverage. One person or one small group of people make a movie that, if we are really speaking the words that the angels want us to speak, the message they want us to share, billions of people can love it and find joy and wisdom through laughter.
Yes.
And how is that?
And I also want to mention, our good friend Paul Luftenegger, who's an amazing singer-songwriter, dedicated a song. So we have music. We'll put it in the comments. I'll grab the link again. But amazing song, and I listened to it just before coming on here, and it was just making me smile because it's just so beautifully written and sung, and just appreciate all the amazing people that we met or connected to, and just it's like this army of light is coming together. So,
yes, I love that. Yeah.
I told everybody, get some sunglasses because it's going to get bright out there.
And Paul, if you're listening, I want to sing with you. I want to do it too. I'm like, I'm a singer. I want to find my niche in this too, and that's kind of new for me. So it's exciting to see all these musicians coming forward. I love it.
Yeah, I'm just going to put the in your page. I'm going to grab the I'll grab the link for that and drop it in there.
Cool.
Yeah, I already put a link to his YouTube page on my Facebook page. And, all this music started happening just like 2 weeks ago. Robert and I were in Detroit. Robert was taped on the Andy Show, which goes out to 300 million households worldwide. And to sort of take his mind off of the upcoming show, Spirit said to me, take him to Motown.
I know. I love that story.
And beautiful. Boy, did we have a great time there. And I said I felt like I had an initiation there singing. We sang a song in the studio, in the snake pit, that all the greats sang it. Right. So and cool. Ever since then, and Robert can tell his part of the story if he's motivated to do that.
I will.
Ever since then, music that's coming to me from every music and movement, music and dance. It's gone. It's like the faucet was turned on ever since then.
Beautiful. Yeah, Robert, you talked about it, I think, last time, but not everybody was on the last one. So, please share.
Well, I posted Paul's link to his song in the comments on your page. And, so I ended up in Motown. And what most people didn't know that day, we were with a group, a tour group in there, and we're in the actual recording studio. And I looked down, and the sheet music for My Girl is on the stands in there. And then the tour guide has us start to sing that song. And everybody's laughing, and they're doing the shuffle. They taught us how to, like the Temptations. And I'm in the front row in the corner by the xylophone that's in there.
Oh, wow.
And I am just losing it. Like there's tears streaming down my cheeks because that is the song. It was one of my niece's favorite songs, and it's in her funeral video. And it was 4 years to the day that she passed away that I was standing in Motown singing that song. So I called my brother from there, and I said, guess where I am? And he said, I have no idea. I said, I'm in Detroit in Motown. And then I just said, we just sang My Girl. And that's all I needed to say. And he knew exactly what I meant. And I just followed that up with, she's here with me right now. And so I go on the show the next afternoon, and it's a show on dealing with death. And the first question I get is, do you think that those who've crossed over can communicate with us? And how do they do that?
I think that's a big yes.
And I'm there, and well, funny you should ask that. Because yesterday afternoon, my niece was with me.
I love it.
And that's the point. It's that we're never gone. It's always part. And even though you can't see or hear, or you feel like you can't speak to them, every time that you're reminded, they're right back with you because they've never left this. They've never left your heart.
Right.
and that love. And that's how they're still here. As soon as you see something that reminds you, it's like, oh my God, I just saw somebody that looked like so-and-so, or that was weird that, on my best friend, like I said, when he is his birthday, and I'm there doing an Eagle Scout border review, and we were both in Boy Scouts together, and my son just got his Eagle, and I'm there helping another, and I felt like he was there with me, smiling, saying, yeah, there you go. Bring another Eagle up.
And I love how everything is divinely orchestrated, even just your, the Motown experience and then the TV show and how you were able to share. It's just so beautiful how Spirit wants us to get the message out so that people have hope and they understand what's happening really, truly. So my mom and I have been actually talking about that quite a bit too. How she's not going anywhere really, she's losing the physical body, but we're always connected at the heart, through love. And she'll be with me all the time. So yeah,
she's going to be laughing when she crosses on the other side because, Lisa has no idea.
I have a funny feeling because she and my dad came through a medium a couple of times too. And, initially my dad was really afraid that he was just going to go on the ground, in a black box. And so he actually came through after he passed in like this golden orb, like they were trying to hold him back and he'd like burst through and my mother saw it. And he's been with her ever since. And the really cool thing is that she knew he was trying to tell her that there's life on the other side. Like it's not the end, and it was really beautiful. It gave her hope and she's really clung to that ever since. Yeah. So
I've lived without fear, doubt, or worry for over 30 years. And just, going with that and understanding that I have no fear of that because I know where and what's on the other side is just this amazing party of just love and drop into that, going to the big show, but I want to ride this party and fiesta out too. So,
absolutely.
The only thing I can really add, the important thing is that we are starting a new age of celebration, and it's never been on this planet. There's no history of it. There's no movie. There's no documentary. There's no religion that's talked about it. We create it, and that's where the music and the movement and the joy and the love, all that. That's why we're here now. So there's the other reason. Why are we on the planet now?
Yeah.
Anyone who's awake, who wants to, can create their paradise and peace for themselves and the world.
So in the last couple minutes here, Swami, I just want you to give your final thoughts on joy, and also how can people get connected with you and share. I know you've got some gifts out there too, so you have ways that they can get in touch with you. Please share that.
Sure. If they go to orangecowboy.com, very easy to remember, you can get a free Tibetan bowl meditation that I just briefly did for you here. You just sign up and download it, and you can listen to it anytime. It's a half an hour, and you can just listen to it and wash yourselves away, and everything washes away. I do have an online 21 Days of Joy course, and I travel now to teach communities how to live healthy through Ayurveda. I call it VIP Ayurveda. 10 people. I'll come to your community, because when I leave, if there's one person doing it, you stop doing it because there's no love and support. But if there's a group of a couple of families, a couple of friends, then it becomes a lasting presence in your life. And my Ayurveda encyclopedia is now being translated into Spanish worldwide. So
nice. Congratulations.
And my final thoughts on joy. Let's see, I'm plugging in. What would they like to say? And they're all dancing. So I see all these angels and archangels, and they're doing like the Rockettes kicking, or the Temptations, dancing. So they're saying community, dance and have fun and laugh and entertain one another is what they're saying. Not up here anymore. It's in here, and it's in here. So.
Just wait till the next show. We're going to all come up with something really bizarre and freak everybody.
The Yellow Submarine, and the Beatles come on from real, and they go, "Oh, there's some blue meanies out there. What do we do? Well, let's go out singing." So that's what we have to do. Just go out singing and dancing.
Nice.
Yeah. There's no more up here. This is, retire this. It's worked too hard already. It deserves a break.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here. We always love being in your energy. I know I needed an extra triple dose of joy today, and you both bring me so much joy. I love you both so much.
Thank you.
Swami, I don't have orange because it's in San Diego, my orange, but I have an orange cup in honor of you. Okay.
Well, I have the 21 Days to Joy orange book. So
you do.
So I have an orange tape measure here, so I can measure how much joy. Look how much joy there is today. It keeps going.
It's endless. Yarns and yarns.
Well, not to be remiss, but I do have my orange butterfly candle. So
okay, I'm looking around. I don't know. I can't find anything.
World is
Darn it! There's nothing orange in here.
well, thank you, and just the light going out there. Okay, we got the orange cover. I'm gonna go get an actual orange, so then I can trump everything.
computer case.
Oh my gosh! Okay, you win. Ding ding.
You win. I'm sure he can out orange us.
I'm sure he can out orange us for sure. All right. Hey, love you guys so much. Thank you, Swami, Robert. Love you guys
for listening in today.
Joy.
Joy.
And share this out, you guys, for all those people who need joy out there. All right. You have an amazing day. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.